What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and I had another video planned to go up right now, and I really wanted that video to go up instead of this, and it still will at some point. But I want to talk about the news so far of the day that Amber Heard is reportedly going to appeal the decision in the trial. So I guess we're not actually done. I thought we were done yesterday. No, I mean, I'm not going to cover this necessarily daily, but of course I'll try to keep updated and try to keep you guys updated on what goes on, considering it still is the trial in a way. So this comes from actually Elaine herself, crazy cat lady. She did the interview. I don't know if it was this morning or last night or when exactly this happened, but she dropped a lot of things that made her seem very incompetent. She continues to go down the path that the UK verdict should have been brought in here. She also likes to play double standard, which we all caught, and hopefully they catch live, where it's like, okay, so... because she said this, she believes the jury went on the internet, which is that's quite an accusation. Now, I don't doubt Elaine, Roddenborn, Amber would be the kind of people to think the jury did that. But, well, a couple things. Number one, if they went on the internet during certain times, they would have seen the hit pieces against Johnny. Because remember, the mainstream media was running these hit pieces at very strategic times, almost hoping, almost wishing that the jury actually did go online. So, careful, Elaine, because if you do find out they went online, when did they go online and what did they see? Because odds, I don't know. It's not 100% fact that they would have seen pro Johnny Depp stuff, so you better be careful. Also, you say they went online, but you want the UK verdict in. Well, what if they saw the UK verdict online? Wouldn't that help them for your side? So you have to play very careful double standards with what Elaine is accusing these jurors of. Another thing is, okay, well, could she actually appeal? I mean, yeah, she could. Here's a couple issues with the appeal from what I know. And I don't know much. I listened to a lot of the Nick Rekieta stuff where they did talk about the appeal, so I'm going to try to pull from memory. Number one is you need money. For a case like this, you actually need pretty sizable money, okay? Which means she most likely needs some sort of loan from somewhere. And the issue there is that's probably not going to happen. If she doesn't have people paying this stuff for her, which I know there's been the rumors. I think, did Elaine say it or somebody, or there was like the rumor that Elon Musk hasn't paid for anything, hasn't written any kind of check for her in a long, long time. So if you believe that, then the rumors of like Elon paying for all this stuff is not true. I know there's been the rumors of like her insurance, her home, is it homeowner's insurance or some sort of insurance is paying for it. But if she loses, she has to pay it. So what basically happened there, if that rumor is to believe, that insurance companies are paying it, okay? What most likely happened is Amber was still, from her own pocket, paying for all of this. And if she won, or if something like in a positive way towards her happened, which it didn't, the winning one claim doesn't work, then they would reimburse her. Okay, so that is most likely what happened if that rumor is to believe. So, and she lost, so she is not going to get reimbursed for that money. So bottom line is she doesn't have any money, okay? So getting the loan or getting the many millions of dollars most likely that the appeal would cost to do seems unreachable. Now, she can try, but it seems unreachable. Part two to this is, okay, well, what are they going to actually appeal? So you have to now go to an appeals court, right, which I believe is like 3 judges that looks over this case and says, all right, was anything unethical? Did the judge do anything like egregiously bad? Did the jurors do anything super bad? And that's really, if it makes it that far, right? Say Amber somehow clears the hurdles leading into that point. Does it make it past that part? I really don't see how it does. The judge, as we pointed out, both you and me, and then, law tuber people on YouTube, the judge was very accommodating and seemingly, in terms of legal decisions, overwhelmingly sided with Amber. Now, I'm not talking about objections, hearsay, which one she ruled on. I'm talking about some of the motions behind the scenes. I'm talking about what was allowed in versus not allowed in, all that stuff. The judge was very accommodating. Now, yes, a little accommodating to Johnny, but overwhelmingly, I would argue, to Amber. So, all right, so you look at that and you say, well, was the judge unfair to Amber? No, if anything, the judge was a little unfair to Johnny, so that doesn't work, all right? Were there any calls that were bad? No. could you bring in the UK verdict? No. Also, some things are stopped by like legal reasonings, right? Elaine goes into, well, one of these text conversations between Amber and her doctor or whatever that admits that Johnny did it or something. It's still hearsay. Like they could whine and cry and complain all they want that, oh, this piece of evidence wasn't allowed in. Was it fair that it wasn't allowed in? Yes, it was fair because it violated something. It was hearsay, or it was something that wouldn't make it in. Okay, that's it. That's all it is. So you can complain about that all you want, but it's not going to change the legal definitions. And I highly doubt 3 judges looking at it are going to say, yeah, they screwed up. I highly doubt it. All right, then the final part, the jury. Did she have an issue with the jury? Again, well, the answer is yes. They thought they went online. Now, I don't know if they're allowed to like look at their phone records and look at like their internet stuff. That would, in my opinion, that's kind of like an overstep. It should be like an honor code at this point. And I'm not, by the way, I'm not saying like, oh, I'm so terrified they actually did it. They don't seem like they did. Now, I've never even seen their faces, but people that have seen their faces, I mean, it just doesn't, to me, seem like that happened. I really believe they probably didn't look at anything. They just watched the evidence, and it's pretty easy to draw your own conclusion. That's the other thing, by the way. The issue with her appealing, just at a base level, just at a grand level, is that I don't think she believes it. Again, I think there's maybe a part of her that believes herself, but I think there's also a part of her that knows she's lying. The general idea to appeal it is to continue to look as good as you can, right? I got screwed over by the court system, so I'm going to try to appeal this, right? But you're coming from a losing side. You lost big time in the verdict, and now you're saying, I think the verdict was wrongfully done, so I'm going to try to fix that. So you're already coming at it from the losing side, and you're going to try to overturn it, which is tough. And number 2, it kind of does show, well, you lost, Amber, you lost. But it also is like, all right, well, what about the line that Johnny just won't leave me alone? Well, if Johnny won't leave you alone, why are you stretching? This is your chance, Amber. I don't know if you know this, but you're done. You're done in Hollywood, stuff like that. But I mean, you're done with Johnny Depp in the courts. He doesn't have a third ruling against you. In fact, he didn't have this is still the first one. Because she wasn't the opponent in the UK case. She was a witness in the UK case. She didn't win, and that's another thing. She didn't win the UK case, and I know that Elaine likes to bring that up. The son won, not her. She was a witness. She didn't win anything. So that's something that's very odd that they like to bring up. But it's like, well, Amber, he only came after you one time, arguably, here. Then when this is done, you're done with him. You don't have to look him in the eyes ever again. He doesn't have to look you in the eyes ever. In fact, he hasn't for a long time. But you're done. But you want to appeal it because you want to because if you win the appeal, you have to redo the trial. Is that what you want to do? So how does that help your case that he just wants to leave you alone? Does a survivor do that? Does a survivor fight? Now, survivors fight. Survivors get through things. But do survivors do this? I don't think they do, and not in the way that she's doing it, right? But going after the jury, here's the thing with the jury, all right? The bad situation for Amber, weirdly, is that she won one of them, okay? Now, I don't necessarily agree with winning the one. I think a lot of people are on the same page. I think there was a holdout. One of the jury members was on Team Amber. The other 6 were not. And to satisfy that person, they needed to do something. They needed to award her some sort of money. They needed to pick a statement, and they ironically picked a statement about the trashing of the penthouse suite, which really didn't do anything. In fact, the 2 that they ruled against her that weren't, the 2 other counterclaims were ones where Adam Waldman called everything a hoax and that it was fake, and they didn't say they said it wasn't defamatory. Why? Because it was true. The only one they went after was the one about the trashing the room, because it truly isn't actually all the way accurate, okay, and it can't be proven. So I understand actually why they went that route. But the thing is, all right, you want to appeal it because you don't like the jury's verdict. Well, you actually won 1 out of 3. You won 33% of yours. Now, yes, you lost all against him, but you won 1 out of 3. You got $2 million. Now, you still pay $8.35 million, but you won $2 million. And final thing, it's not like this actually would have hurt the jury, oddly enough. So I'm glad, I guess, it didn't happen. The jury didn't come back Friday. They didn't, we all wanted this, I assume, but they didn't do it. They didn't go back on Friday, say, all right, who's the lying loser here? Okay, it's Amber. All right, check all the boxes. Yes, pick a money amount. All right, let's go back out there 10 minutes later. We don't want to stay past today. All right, let's do it. That may have helped her case in an appeal where she could argue they rushed through it. But she can't do that now because I would say more than enough time. They took more than enough time to go through it. They had 2.5 hours on Friday. They had the entirety of Monday or Tuesday. Sorry, there was no Monday because of Memorial Day. And then Wednesday they had about half the day. So half the day. Add in the Friday time. They almost spent 2 full days. Not exactly, but just under. So they didn't rush it. So really every aspect of this is not going to work. Where did the jury mess up? They spent a lot of time. They came to a, what's the word? Fair and reasonable decision. Is that the legal words? That's what they did. It was fair. It was reasonable. It took them a good amount of time, and that was fair and reasonable. The amount of time they took. They weren't on their phones, or at least you can't prove it. And if you can prove it, I mean, I would say you're kind of overstepping kind of privacy at that point. And again, it's double standards because who's to say? So if you really do look, and I don't know if this works, do you look at their phone records? Do you look at their internet usage of what sites they were on, all that stuff? But if you do that, I mean, I guess that would immediately be like, well, you're not supposed to go on the internet, period, so that was a problem. But what if they went on Amber-related stuff, like good Amber? Or what if the one jury or one of the one jury members that was on her side, which, again, I believe there was at least one, what if they saw positive things about Amber? Doesn't that hurt you? So I don't know. I really don't think there's a case to be made against the jury. Definitely not a case to be made against the judge. The judge was overwhelmingly not on her side. And I don't want to come across the wrong way. I don't think, if the judge had an opinion, which I assume she did in her head, I don't want to speak for the judge, but I do want to say I believe, if you had to ask me my bet, I believe the judge would have supported Johnny Depp. If it was up to the judge, I think he would have won. But I think in terms of allowing things to slide, allowing things to make it in, not make it in, all that stuff, I think it went towards her overwhelmingly, right? If you don't count by cameras in the courtroom, if you're going to be upset about cameras in the courtroom, I really don't know what to tell you at that point. You know what I mean? That's ridiculous to get upset over something like that. I don't know if they did. Well, I know Amber was upset. I don't know if that's part of the appeal reasoning. Oh, cameras shouldn't have been allowed. Now the whole world knows I'm a liar, right? What are you doing? So I really don't think you can go after the judge. I don't think you can go after the jury. I don't know how this works. So I don't know how. Well, I know a little bit how it works. I don't know how it'll work out for her is what I'm saying, right? So we'll see what happens. I mean, this is not going to be something that happens tomorrow. It could be threats, by the way, not malicious, which is funny I bring up that word, but no, it doesn't have to be it could just be all words. She could say, yeah, Amber's looking to do this. They could say that for years. They could say that for months, right? Or until it runs out. I assume there's a run out time where you can't do it anymore, but they could ride it out. They don't have to do it right away. And maybe they can't because of money reasons or whatever. So it doesn't even have to happen. It could just be to make her look good, right, to the 5 people left that still support her online, where it's she's still going to fight, guys. She's going to fight for you. She's going to fight for women because nobody fights for women the way Amber fights for women. It's all right, fine. Keep talking, and then we'll see if you ever actually do it. Maybe it's a pledge. Maybe she pledged to appeal and not actually donated I don't know. It's a joke. So I want it to be over. I still think it's over. There's no way it overturns, in my opinion. He won. It is annoying because it's what will Hollywood want to bring him back if he's still, because now it's being appealed, right? Does that affect Johnny Depp in any way? But again, if it does, it's Amber, now you're not leaving him alone. So that's a big issue because if you did have to do a retrial, now you could bring up, oh, well, now it seems like you're the vindictive one because you won't let it go. You won't let it go. You want to keep going after the guy. So that does not help you because you're supposed to be a survivor. You're supposed to be a victim. I know you don't like to hear that word. You're a victim, or whatever, whichever of the two she doesn't like to hear. But that's what I think. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next video.